Hey everybody, happy Wednesday night, happy crafting class night. I'm Melissa Thomas from C2C Stamping, and I'm just gonna make sure that I can see us on the other screen, and then we're gonna get started. I have a fun new set that we're gonna play with tonight, and we're actually going to case the catalog. So let's go, okay? All right. So, just making sure I can see what we're doing over here. I'm gonna move my keyboard out of the way. All right. So, we are going to play with the new, and sorry if I'm super crooked, I'm trying to straighten this up. We're gonna play with the new Marvelous Nature stamp set. I'm really excited about this one. This was a set that when I saw the sample in the catalog, I was sold immediately. I think it's really, really beautiful. And what we're doing for our demonstrator swap, so our demonstrators are known to swap. And they'll make a card sample and then they'll trade it with other people. And that's how we get a lot of our samples because we couldn't possibly own everything in the catalog. And so it's great to be able to swap with other demos because you get to see different styles and things. So we're doing a swap and we're doing a case the catalog swap. So what that means is each of the demonstrators on our team is picking a sample that they want to make from the catalog. And then we have access to what they call sample recipes. It's not the full recipe, like it doesn't give you step-by-step instructions. It's more like the ingredient list. So there's a little bit of puzzling to be done there, but you and I are gonna puzzle this one out because I wanted to make this sample from the catalog. So I'm gonna show you the sample I wanna make. And one thing I wanted to plug is that I've got some of these really great catalog tabs. And if you place an order this month, I'm gonna mail you some catalog tabs. I'm also giving away a Stamparatus. So remember, for every $50 you place with me, then you get an entry in for a drawing for a Stamparatus. So this is the sample that I want to make. And what the recipe told me was that it used the radiating stitch dies, which I could see that because that was easy to see. It's this big die. The radiating stitch dies are an online exclusive set. I have the full set here, and I'll show you. They're really nice. I'm very happy that I got them. So it has two smaller rectangles, a circle, a small circle, a heart. The heart's really cute. And then this really large one. So this one I can tell they use that there. And then we're using crumb cake, I know that. I see that there's a sponge dauber here, so I'm imagining that's how they added the color onto here. I know this DSP, it's from the Earth and Elegance Designer Series paper. And so this is this set that has all these beautiful natural textures, and it's got some really cool, like, to me that almost looks like stitching, some wood. This is the set that goes, there's like a pot, and it's a really cool paper pack. So it uses a couple pieces of that, I can tell. And it uses the dies that are here somewhere. Oh, here they are. And then it said it uses the Nested Essential dies. So the Nested Essentials are a new die set, and they are stitched. I really like this shape because it fits longer sentiments. Sometimes we have these really long scripty sentences and they are like sentiments and they don't fit on our other ones. So I'm excited about this shape. It has some banners. There's another banner here that I used. Oh, here we go, this one. And then it has these kind of rounded shapes. But I was really curious, there's a couple things I was trying to puzzle out, was how big of a banner they used. So what I did is I took the stamp set and I said, okay, that looks like it's not as wide as the sentiment, right? So this looks to be the right width, right? So I think I got the right size of that, so yay. Because I'm trying to create this, you know, as close as possible to the sample. Then it looks like this one is rounded, but what's weird is that I can tell that's not the right size. And then if I get this other one off the sheet, that's also still not the right size. It's too tight. So I think what they did is they did the trick where they die cut it and then they die cut it again and they run it through twice to make it the right size. So we'll work on this. I think that this is copper clay paper. I'll pull it up to see. And then it definitely looks like we've got two pieces of white that we're stamping on here. One that's kind of cut to fit and then one that's a little bit bigger. So we'll get that. I think we need probably some crumb cake. And then the two inks are, I'm hoping, pulled from here. This one has Misty Moonlight, which I would go with yes. And maybe it's like Balmy Blue. So let's see. Balmy Blue, Misty Moonlight. I'm gonna grab some pecan pie too. But it might be crumb cake. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. All right, so I've got my die cut pieces, so I'm feeling good about that. Oh, what's that other brown in here? Maybe it's the other brown in here. What is this? Copper clay, gray granite. Oh. And pebble path. Oh, gray granite, pebble path. These are all good colors. Let's see. We'll kind of pull out. We're gonna figure out what that back one is. I'm not sure which of these colors it is, but we'll look and see. And then I feel confident about those two. I'm not super confident that that's the right blue. Oh, what other blue could it be? Azure Afternoon. There we go, that's the right blue. And then it looks like we're gonna do white heat embossing on a piece of copper clay. So that piece I might not do while we're on camera, but I will definitely post for you guys the final result. So with this swap, we are doing 21 cards, which is a lot. And hey, Elena, I happen to pick a really complicated one to do. Because why not, right? Why not? So, I'll be working on these for a while. But that's okay, no big deal. All right, and then I've got a piece of white, because we're gonna need some white for this too. And we're gonna need some sponge daubers. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this aside. I'm gonna put the catalog here so that we've got the sample picture in the screen, but it doesn't have to let's see how far over I can go and we can still see it. All right, good. Just like there, excellent. Okay, so we've got our crumb cake base, and then we've got a piece. I just cut this piece to the normal standard inset size, and it cut just a tiny bit off the edges. So I feel like, that's a standard size for that. I'm going to take the stamp set, and we're gonna look and see how big we think this needs to be. So it looks like there is a little bit of space on the radiating dies up and down in terms of this white piece that's gonna go on here. But I think that it's gonna be, pretty much like that or so. Oh dear, let's get our paper trimmer. what this number is. Let's see. 3 1/4. Yeah, I can try that and see. Let's see. 3 1/4. Looks like it might be a little bigger than we need to be according to the sample. I feel like it's a little, that's about right, left and right, but that might be a little too long. So maybe it's 3, although it does kind of cover them up a little bit. Let's go 3 and try and see. If we cut it too small, it can always be the inset one. So, all right, so 3 is really right. And then this looks like it's 4 1/4. I'm gonna trim it down to 4. So let's do a 3 by 4 and see. Again, we're just trying to kind of replicate the spacing and the size. That looks good. So 3 by 4, okay, for the one layer. And then the other one, I'm actually gonna probably stamp it and then I'll cut it after I've stamped it. All right, so we've got these 2 that we're gonna stamp. And one we're gonna stamp in some sort of a solid color that we think matches this. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. These are the pieces of DSP. I already cut them out, so they're with the stitch die as well. There's Pebbled Path and Misty Moonlight in here. I'm thinking it's Pebbled Path. So, hey Lynn. Lynn, we are casing the catalog. So, all right. So this one is going to be stamped, and I've got to get it, you know, relatively straight. All right, we'll make sure that we got good ink on here. You know, the other day I was thinking I stamp on a foam mat every single day because this is a foam mat. And that might not be perfect, but that's okay. Ooh, that is very dark. All right. I don't think that that's the color. It's a beautiful image, but I don't think that's it. So, oh, wipies, where are you? I think that's too dark. All right, so, and I think pecan pie is not the right color. I don't think it's copper clay. So we're just gonna give crumb cake a try and see if crumb cake is it. And then we can kind of decide between the 2. But I definitely don't think it's that one. I don't think it's Grey Granite either. So let's try this. Let's try some crumb cake. Let's see. I love crumb cake. I always have lots of crumb cake cardstock because I feel like it's a really good neutral. We used to have crumb cake envelopes, which I really liked. And I think stamping this straight might be challenging. Okay, I don't like that you can see that line, but we're gonna cover it up anyway. I think that's probably more in line with what the image we need. So, all right, so now this secondary image is actually gonna be daubered on, and that's why they've got the little daubers in the corner. So a lot of times I have customers who call me or email me and they say, hey, I want to make this sample on X page. How do I make it? Or, you know, what, you know, and I'm usually between the recipes that we're given and, you know, kind of my knowledge, I can usually decipher what we're doing. Every once in a while, there's one that's confusing to me. And this die had us all stumped. For about a week, a bunch of us were looking, trying to figure out where this die was and how they did it. And finally, I said, you know, I think that it's just done by cutting it twice and running it through the machine. So anyway, okay, we're gonna do, so we need birds flying. So we're gonna do, yeah, the top is gonna be in light and the bottom's gonna be darker. And so we're going to sponge dauber this. And the fun thing about the sponge daubers, right, is that you can apply color really well, and you can blend color, and you can make things look a certain way. And so we can, you know, we can kind of give this kind of an old world, you know, kind of modeled look. It does look like they flicked a little bit of water on there afterwards. I probably won't do that, only because I think that there's some inconsistencies when you do that. And then it does look like there's some kind of embellishment on here. I'll have to see which one it is, and who knows, I might have to place an order. All right, so we just want to overlap those colors. All right, and then we stamp. Oh, I don't know if I can get this pulled over. Every once in a while, a new pad will get stuck on me. There we go. Okay, you can put a candle, you can rub a candle in there, and it will make it easier. Just putting a little wax in there. Oh, that's so pretty. So what I liked that they did was they trimmed it off so the wings are actually from the background piece. So I'll show you what they did was they lined it up and trimmed it. Oh, and it would help if I actually had stamped straight. That will be challenging. All right, so I might end up trying to cut these first then, because that's gonna be challenging. I might have to trim that with like a little, like a, scissor or something, but okay. Hopefully this is relatively straight. Okay. So I know it looks like we're losing some of our work, and we are. Just, oh shoot, just a little bit. All right. Okay. So what this does then, if we have it trimmed correctly, okay, there we go. When we layer these two pieces, now the wings are here, but they're in from like the background image, right? So we do really need not any white to show, like, so it's just to be really, like, I'm gonna kind of trim all these here too. So I don't want any of the white edge to show. Okay, good. All right, so now let's assemble and see if we can kind of match their assembly process. So it looks like maybe this is popped up on dimensionals. I know I can tell the sentiment is. It's hard to tell if the image is. Chapstick. Oh, that's a good idea, Lynn. I used to use chapstick to get my cling stamps to stick. I definitely think that this is lifted with dimensionals. Definitely. It looks like there's a lot of dimensionals on this one, actually. So there's a few things that I might not dimensional, just because when you do too many, it gets really, really thick, and then like your project won't even, fit, right? So let's see. So I'm not going to dimensional this piece on because I don't think this is worth it, and I think it adds enough bulk and interest that it doesn't have to be dimensional on. Then these guys are kind of just hanging out underneath, and I don't think they need to be dimensional either. So we're going to put some adhesive on them. This one looks relatively straight. This one's definitely kind of like crooked into the side. And then we'll get some glue on these other two. So this one looks like it's maybe a little bit more crooked. It almost looks like they were trying to make them look like they matched up. but we know they don't because we know that they're two separate pieces. And yes, I probably could have not cut the whole thing and used less designer series paper, but I don't know, what's the point? It's fine. So, all right, so now this one I'm definitely going to put on dimensionals. Yeah, that gray granite is, I think, way too dark. Maybe not, though. Oh, dear. All right, let's look and see. So if we do this, and we do this, how do we feel? Like, do we think that that is more accurate to the sample? Or do we think that this is more accurate to the sample? I think I'm going with the cupcake. I stick by my decision. All right. So copy and share everything is what CASE stands for. And when you case a project, it means that, you know, when we do projects as demonstrators, we want you to copy us. You know, they provide us the catalog so we can copy the catalog. And the nice thing about casing is that it takes a little bit of the work out, you know, the guesswork and the do these colors match and will this look good and blah, 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 right? So that's why we case, because it does make our, you know, makes our jobs easier. And for customers, it makes sense that you copy what we make and you copy what, you know, the artisan, the concept artists have done here, right? So this catalog is made to be a little bit more of an everyday crafter catalog. I will say that I definitely picked the most difficult one. This one, on the other hand, this sample is just a stamp. You know, there is heat embossing here. There's a little strip of DSP and a strip of twine, though. This is definitely not as complicated as the one that I chose to do. But that's okay. All right, lots of love. We'll stamp this. And then I'll show you how to do this. It does make a beautiful image. Hi, Pat. How are you? Nice to see you. Hi, Jeanette. It is. It's beautiful. It's just, you know, it's a little bit more work. All right. Let's get some Versamark in here because I want to show you guys how to do this die cut piece. So, all right. So we're going to stamp the lots of love in clear. And I stamp that in Versamark. The seniors got to play with Versamark for the first time, and they loved it. I thought it was super fun. White? Yes, white. All right. So one time, many years ago, I got a what I thought was white embossing powder from Stampin' Up, and it ended up being clear. I thought it was losing my mind. And apparently they had mislabeled a whole bunch of them. And so I have two quote-unquote whites, but one of them is clear. And I keep mine in these little Tupperware containers all the time because it just makes my life a lot easier, especially with the white and the clear, because I use those a lot. And then you can kind of flip the back if there's any kind of like excess pieces, you know, so. Yes, Lynn, the oohs and ahs were flabbergasted. And it was really fun to get to do the heat embossing with them. We just did one sentiment. But I told them that, you know, we can definitely do more. And, I mean, just wait until we do, like, some stained glass technique, right? They're going to lose their minds, so. George came in to rescue me from the heat embossing gun. He thinks that it's attacking me. And so he always has to bust in and rescue me. Hey, George, come here. Yeah, you trying to rescue me? Yeah, you think it's gonna get me? All right, okay, buddy. It's not getting me, I promise. Anything that has a lot of noise, he really loses his mind. So, all right, we'll get the mini machine out. All right, I'm gonna get the mini cut and emboss machine because then I can show this to you and I don't have to go over to the big machine. So we just need our tiny plate and our 2 clear plates. These other plates we don't need. And yes, I did buy a Stampin' Up lunchbox for my mini machine because I think that it holds it really well. I'm gonna move a few things out of the way so we don't make too big of a mess here. All right. Okay, so here we go. Mini machine, boom. And then we've got our plates and we've got our thing. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your sentiment and you're gonna line it up kind of where you want it. And so I'm gonna line this up, that looks good. I'm gonna put my top plate on. I'm not gonna use washi tape to hold it down, although I probably should have. All right, here we go. Sorry, a little bit of shaking. It'll be worth it, I promise. Okay, so we got it to come out to the other side. Lovely and wonderful. So now we have kind of half of a really cute sentiment, right? So all we're gonna do then is we're gonna line it back up. And one of the things you can do with these stitched ones especially is you can kind of feel where the stitching is, and you can usually lock it in place so that it'll line up with the stitching again. So we're gonna line that up. We're gonna get our plate. We're gonna pray we don't move it while we do it. I know normally I would put washi tape in here, but I just don't feel like grabbing it. Okay, here we go. And then now we're gonna have stitching, hopefully, on the top and the bottom and the sides, and hopefully, not bad, I was a little off, not terrible, right? And hopefully it looks good. Not bad, not bad, all right? So, no, this machine is not smaller. Well, it might be, I don't know. So we have 2 emboss cut machines. We have the standard size one, and then we have the little mini one. So I don't know which one you got, Lynn. And we now have this one in boho blue as well. It's really cute. Just the mini though is in boho blue. And I think customers can buy it on the page. The mini machine's only $60. So it's a great die machine if you just want to do like lots of labels and little pieces. And anytime that you're looking in the catalog at the dies, you'll see, I think I marked the dies back here. They'll be marked with a mini. So if it's marked with this little mini logo, then it's compatible with the mini machine. And that means that all of the images in there will fit in the mini machine. Now, if it's not marked with a mini, like this one's not marked with a mini, but clearly there are lots of pieces in here that will go through the mini machine. I think it's just this one that's too wide. But honestly, that one looks like it's fine. It doesn't look that wide. It doesn't look any wider than that one. So if it's not marked with the mini, like these pieces clearly cannot fit in the mini machine. But all of those could, right? So if it's not marked with a mini, that doesn't mean that nothing will go through the mini. It just means if it's marked with a mini, everything fits inside the mini. So yeah, the mini machine's really cute. And as long as you get your plate feed right, then you're good. Oh, we need to go back to our page. 106. 106. Where were we? Here we are. Okay. So, where's our card? Good. We need some dimensionals probably. So I'm probably going to do, they've got it here. So I'm going to do probably a dimensional, probably going to do like half a dimensional over here. Just going to hang it off the edge. And I'm actually going to put the dimensional down first, which I know is a little backwards than probably, but I don't want it to go down on this other level. I'm going to do a little bit of glue over here. So I'm going to flat run it here, but then I'm going to, I want that lower. I don't want to cut the bird's like neck off. So I don't know if you guys had seen or heard, but we had little baby cardinals in a nest in our backyard. And I'm very proud. We've fenced it off so the dog wouldn't get to it. And they have hatched and they have flown the nest. So they survived. I'm very, very proud of us for keeping them alive. You know, it's hard. It's hard being a baby bird mom. All right, so I need to see what these dots are. They look like matte dots, but I think I'd be okay with these ones. There are a lot of really beautiful, oh, I bet those are pretty too. There are a lot of really beautiful new jewels in the new catalog, and I feel like we are not getting to, you just can't appreciate them if you're not seeing them in person. I think either one of these would work, but I think I have one that I like a little bit better. I feel like everything's very matte. I do see I probably need to pull these out a little bit more on the next sample, but it's fine for now. So these are the, what are they called? Tinsel Gems 3-pack, and they have this very pretty kind of misty moonlight color, and I think that they are going to be just what the doctor ordered here. This is brighter than what is in the sample. These are matte dots for sure, but I'm okay with it, and I think they're really pretty. So did I make birth announcements for the cardinal? You're hilarious. I'm just happy that they survived. I mean, we had several dogs in the backyard playing, and this cardinal decided to build a nest 2 feet off the ground in the smallest crepe myrtle bush I've ever seen in my life. And so I'm pleased that they have hatched and flown the coop, honestly. But so there we go. We have Case the Catalog. And I think it's a really fun, this is a fun set for sure. So, it's beautiful. I think the sentiments are really nice. You're marvelous. Lots of love. Thanks for everything. I mean, these are really good sentiments. And this is a really fun stamp set that I think can be, you know, it could be used very simply, but it can also, you know, obviously be dressed up quite a bit. So hopefully you enjoyed our Case the Catalog moment. I will go make another 20 of these for my swap, and I'll see you next week. I will be live next week, and then the week after I'm going to help my mom, so I won't be here that week. But next week I will be here and I will be live, and next week I will not have samples. What I'll do the week I'm gone is I'll post a video on Wednesday night that has lots and lots of new catalog samples, because I'll have samples from my swap, and then we're doing a shoebox swap too. So it's going to be, you know, it's a lot of fun being a demonstrator with Stampin' Up. We get to participate in a lot of fun demonstrator-only events. I got to register for Las Vegas, which is our leadership conference, and only, you know, a handful of us, handful is more than handful, but there's, you know, 600 of me and my closest Stampin' Up leader friends are going to get to go to Las Vegas in August and learn a lot. And, you know, we get to do a lot of really cool things as demonstrators, and hopefully we inspire you to make really pretty cards and send those cards. So thanks so much for joining me, and I appreciate you guys. And hopefully Crystal Wilson and a few of us that were puzzling on where this die was, I solved it, and I'm so proud. All right, I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. I'll flip this up and say good night. All right. Bye, y'all. Have a wonderful week. Happy end of school for us. It's end of school this week, and we're just trying to get to Friday. And so if you're wrapping up school weeks this week, congratulations. You made it. Whew, we made it. And we'll see you next week. Okay. Bye, everybody.